Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a challenging approach day. We're sitting in Kathmandu. We kind of joggled the schedule a little bit. Now kind of wishing I didn't after watching this approach we're about to perform here after we get over there. We're in Kathmandu, Nepal. We got a simple 200 and roughly 31 or so miles to fly to get there, but it is called Paro International Airport in Bhutan. It is rated as one of the most challenging airports out there in the world. And yes, flying with Mike is going to give it a try and see how many mountains we get to fly over to get there. So here's the chariot that will take us into this amazing approach. It is set not only in the Himalayas, but the airfield itself is one of the higher elevation airports. Not the highest, we've already been to that one. But this one sits at a altitude of 4,395 feet. Kind of a Denver-like airports, but it is. Put Denver in Aspen, close it in around it in all directions, and then you get Paro. So, and make Denver just one runway instead of the, what do they got? 9, 10 runways. So, yeah. So yeah, for flying sake today, it is going to be nail biting. Any of you have ever attempted this thing, I've heard it's gonna be fun. So that's all we can say. No guarantees that the wheels will actually hit the concrete. May hit granite, but we'll do our best, folks. This is a very precise flown approach. So we're gonna take this Zibo 737. We're gonna start fueling up here. We've already got a lot. You know, now that was just about as hilarious as it can get. That fuel tanker looked like he was trying to be a dragster. Did you see how much he lifted off the ground to get going? That cracks me up. If I ever see a tanker do that, I'm gonna run. Anyway, that was quite hilarious. But anyway, we're gonna get this thing shoved off here in a moment. Let's hop up into the cockpit. We've already been powered up. We're going to go through some quick checklists, start fueling the plane, and then we'll get our passengers on board and head on our way here. So quickly, we know the battery's on and the guard's closed. The GPU is on, and hang on a second. How we know that is we got all these lights and all of this showing. So anyway, let's push up a little higher. We're going to go ahead and align the IRS. Okay. Align and align and align. 6 minutes to go. Okay, so we're going to go back down. So we got that going. Voice recorder, flight deck access. We'll keep the door open for now. ELT. All of this we'll check up top. And okay, that made that pretty simple. Alright, so that leaves us to there. We'll go back to home. We'll get the ground service going here. Gonna open up that door for a second here, get some air going. Oh, it is open. Okay, stand by here. I gotta check some things. I may not be talking. But one day, I don't check it. The one day I don't check it. The one day I don't check it. Oh, great. One day I don't check it. Okay. So we're checking still. So we're checking. We don't want edge on. Checking still edge on. All right. So I think I have a bad port all of a sudden. I have a bad port. That's what I'm thinking here. Great. That's what I'm thinking here. Great. So I'm just checking here because I am not hearing it. I'm just checking here because I am not where. I'm just checking here because I am not where. Just check. Try again. Just check. Just making sure we're not muted. Just check. Just making sure we're not muted. Just check. Just making sure. Okay. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Gotta love this. I noticed it with my flight. I had that in there. Noticed it with my flight earlier, and it was noticed it with my flight earlier, and it was noticed it with my flight earlier, and it was noticed it with my flight. Testing this out to see if the echo should be gone now. I just turned off the that is weird. I cannot hear any of the sounds. Let me check something. Aha! Now I know why I'm not hearing. Okay. It was on my end. I figured it out. Somehow the volume on my, not the headset itself, but the controller where it goes into the computer was turned off. Alright, cool. Alright, well, it was nice to know that that was working at least. Alright, sorry for the sideline there. Let me regroup here and bring up my laptop here at the same time. Okay, so where was I? Let's go back to the checklist to find out. Okay, so we just got the cruise loading, and that's where I noticed the no sound. Okay. Corrupted nav data. What? Oh, yay. But everything that's going to go wrong on this trip seems to be wanting to go wrong. I hope that's not true. Alright, well, we're going to give it a shot here. Starting to get a little nervous here seeing all these errors. We just did a nav graph update. We had a lot of trouble yesterday with the GPS and all not being up to date. So we're going to give this a try here. Let me pop up here. Let me do something real quick here so we don't get caught. VNKT for Kathmandu. Okay, so we got that in there. And okay, so we got all of that set up. So let's head up top, finish up that checklist. We were going to test the flight recorder, lock 1, lock test 2, and the stalls. Here's our passenger. Oxygen is normal, looks good, 3 green, and service interphone is off. Devices are green. We are aligned. And there's our position. Let's make sure. Since everything seems to not be wanting to go my way today, let's just zero in 27, 85, 19. Oh boy. Okay, well, we're going to give it a shot. Oh, we don't want this. Let's see, where were we? All right, let's go ahead and get the aircraft fueled. I've been kind of thrown a curveball here, so real quick, we're just going to stop. Let's do the pre-flight. Let's take a look at the trip to Paro, and then dive right into putting it into the FMC after we get the fuel going. So in Sim Toolkit over right now. There it goes. Okay, and Sim Toolkit shows the route. So here's Kathmandu. We're going to be departing on runway 2. We're going to fly to Kidney, to Tumli, to Metum, Supsu, PR 888, and then we're going to take the RNAV in for runway 15. The one I watched yesterday, I just thought I'd get an idea of what am I in for today. I watched a YouTube video, guy in X-plane flying it. He did runway 33. I'll take 15 right now, because that took you having to go up to a circle to come back. It was no thank you. It's going to be hard enough as it is. So we got some spotty rain that's painting out. There is one plane already showing on here trying it, and I see him on VATSIM. So we're going to give it a shot here, folks. So let's get in here. Here's our route. We're going to be doing the IGRIB or I-1B departure for runway 2 to Kimti, to the Bravo 345 to Tumli, to the Gulf 348 to Supsu, and on to the Supsu 1 arrival, which is basically one more fix, and then we do the RNAV. So air miles is 231 miles. Average wind pretty much at our back, so that'll be a blessing. And then our fuel load is going to be 14,983 pounds. And then down below, we're going to be putting on only about 141 people, and 1,000 pounds of cargo for the folks out at Paro. Reason being, I use Professional Flight Planner as a backup, so I can get 1, my V-speeds, but 2, check runways for making sure we're flying within the proper weight zone. So, so that backup, I could not run with 159 people. I had to have a takeoff weight under, hang on a second, under 137,600, I believe 80 pounds, and the way I'm loaded in Professional Flight Planner right now with 141 people, 2 infants, and the fuel load, we were able to get it to go through to give us V-speeds. Otherwise, we were single engine problems. Remember, both airports are high altitude. So that's where that's coming into kicking us, pretty hard. So hang on, I'm just getting my laptop finally going here. It's been a day, folks. You gotta love the end of the year. Should be nice, relaxful. Here I am, gonna go fly tomorrow. Should have flown a flight like St. Martin. But anyway, we'll make it all happen, folks. Give me another second here. There we go. Alright, so that's our fuel. Here's our charts, basically showing you the route. right here we're beginning the approach, and it's, I think here we start zigzagging a little bit for the arrival. We do 3-3, you do a big run this way, then zigzag in, come out, come back around and land. What's missing from this, and we'll show it on the live map, is the missed approach. So anyway, here's our route. Looks like a jet stream, I'm guessing that is, right above us, and some turbulence right in here, so could be a little bumpy, could be a little fun. The other thing about Paro, has to be VFR, folks. Can't go in instruments. These approaches, these mountains, well, the mountains themselves will kill you. The approaches are not set up for instrument conditions. So yeah, they cancel quite a bit. Flight level 240, you can see tailwind, quartering tailwind most of the way. And in case we're able to get up there, just click that, sorry, to 31,000, here's what we're dealing with. And then vertically, they got us scheduled to 31,000. I'm gonna hold off, maybe 29, maybe 27. It just seems, I don't know if we'll be able to get up that high that point, so we'll see. Corrupted data, I don't know. And I really don't want to hand fly this thing, but if I have to, I will. So, there you go, folks. You've seen the charts. We're there. Like I said, here's the live map coming up as soon as it refreshes. Oh, and this doesn't show it. Oh, here's where it shows it. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's NavGraph. We're here. If I zoomed in, you'd see our quick departure out of here. Now, here's what we got to do. You see the little S turns we got to make through here. If we have to go miss, the good thing is it's straight out, and it is kind of like a weird turnaround to come back. Then you do the other little turnaround thing. Hopefully that half we don't have to do. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, that we'll be able to fly this. What's this here web gear? Oh, overflight PPR, huh? Well, you know. Alright, welcome Bob, gaming to the channel. Yes, we're in the 737, and yes, we're going to Paro, so you're not going to fly anything bigger into there. Although, it's a 7,000 foot runway, I bet you a 757 might be able to do it, but boy, it could be rough in those hills. There's a couple of big things that I've learned about this run that I'll share as we go along. So we'll get into those as we get to it. So let's all right. So we've got this approach. We've got. Let's go ahead and come back to the cockpit. All right, and we're on the AV tab, and let's see here. Oh, maybe I'll make this a little easier. I am going to go ahead and start fueling. You can verify that. There's the gas guy and the gas truck. Do a quick fly around here. Yeah, it's still there. Let me zoom in. That is an American airline. The live traffic that I use for X-Plane is sometimes quite hilarious. Nepal, they have ATRs, but I don't know the name of the airlines there, but an American Eagle ATR sits on the ramp behind me. I'll bet you a lot of those to the right of it are too. Some of this is going to be traffic from the default scenery, which is what we're using here. Some of it may show up as real traffic. But he'll fuel us up to 14,000. Let's hop back in. And where are we at currently on that? Up to 9,000. So let's continue on. We're on this. So we got the initial data in. We're going to get the nav data and the performance in. Then we'll start into the big checklist items. Okay. Flight number for this is DRK-20. We're going to call it MAC 572. And no, I am not on VATSIM at the moment, but we probably will be here shortly. Okay. Give me a second here to get the right airplane selected for it. It's always hard to find it in this list. You know you have too many airplanes in your list when you can't find it easily. But when you're flying with, you know, pilots from across the world, I understand why there it is. Oh, sounds. Settings, hang on, I gotta, so you guys don't hear it, 80 knots V1. That was for the King Air. Let's see. Save, all right. We'll come back to that. All right, so we'll be Mac. Next page. Okay. And a nice thing about. All right, so. Plugged this in to check because of all the troubles we had on the flight with the King Air. Everything seemed to go in like it was supposed to last night. Then of course we changed everything. Okay. Do that. And departure. Okay. And I am going to go ahead and put in the arrival. All of this. Reason being, with only 245 miles, folks, it's like a captain said once when we were flying from here to Chicago, then on to Anchorage. From St. Louis to Chicago is about the same amount, 220, 200, no more than 70 miles. He said, folks, we're going to go to flight level, I think in the MD-80 we went up to 27. And he says, we're going to try and give you some time to get up, stretch, walk around. But, folks, it's a short flight. So we're going to try to turn the light off as quick as we can, but it may come on just as quick as we turned it off. That's how this flight reminds me of. So we've got it active. And we're we're going to do one last run through with the didn't see a runway. Interesting. Well, hopefully this works out. We're going to find out halfway through. Let's see. So we've got that all set up. So let's go right into. Looks like our fuel may be done. So hang on. And it is. Fuel truck just disappears. It's not like those of you that fly maybe Sparky's 747-400, the free one on GitHub. The fuel truck will drive up, do its thing, drive away. Catering truck, same thing. Here, it just fuel truck, kind of pops in, pops out. Okay, so let's do our planned fuel. Let me get back over here. 14.9. Okay. Zero fuel weight. Okay, so for the reserve, let's see. Sim toolkit. I'm just looking at it real quick. Okay, 5,100 to the alternate, 15. And we're showing 7.2, 7.5. Looks like we're going to go with 6.6. What I'm doing, I'm not going by this. I want to make sure we have at least 6,600 gallons of fuel, give or take a couple, by the time we get to Paro, first attempt. If that goes bust, that means I still have 5,000 pounds to make my alternate, plus the 3,000 for the 45-minute reserve. We're good to go there. So that's why I put in 6.6. Cost index, I always run an 85 on the 7.3s. See, they're calling 27. We're going to go with 27. Yeah, no, I could go higher. Okay, average cruise wind here. Actually, that's a nice thing from SimBrief. 263 at 68. I don't deal with those now. Transition altitudes. I think we're 13.5. Wow, put it in right. Okay. And 18,000 for Paro. Okay, so let's go to the N1. Now, we are planning out of here, flaps 1 departure, TO. This is coming from Professional Flight Planner. SimBrief does not do this. Hey, doing great, Bob. Doing great. You out flying yourself? And web gear, we're in pounds, not gallons. So, let's see here. Active, we'll climb out. Climb 1. Alright, so we're going to drop down here. Okay, winds. I've got another little program that just helps put the winds right like I want them. Not meaning how I would prefer it all to line up with everything, but from what's really out there. Are you serious? Oh well, we're not worried about that. Close. Runway, come on. 2. And 020, it's 2. Nice. Love when it does that. Even on a calm wind day, for some reason, this program will always give me something to put in there. Heading 22. Okay. Oops. Now, if y'all know how to put in the slope here, I cannot figure it out. I end up just cheating, doing it that way. We'll put 1500 my engine out. And at 1500, we'll drop to 1. Select altitude is 6. Wait a minute. Well, we don't have one. So let's just see what it comes up with. It should redline, yeah. Select, we don't have one, so we're not going to worry about it. Next page, flap 1. And all I did here, folks, was click the line select next to CG, and that filled it in. Murito 6893, hello to you as well. That question, I'll be honest, I don't know, but I can find a quick answer for you. According to X-Plane at the site there, Murito, 8 gigs of RAM is needed, and at least 1 gig of VRAM. So looks like you're at the bottom end, but you should be able to operate it. How well it'll go, I don't know. I set this machine up when I was looking to set up a new computer in August for Microsoft 2020. So I made sure this thing was ready to roll for it. It just 2020 wasn't ready to roll with me yet. So so it's high end on everything, so I could get a decent look at the new flight sim Microsoft had. Hopefully next year we'll see that, but I'm waiting until the worlds of PMDG and all finally beef up the airline side of it. But yeah, that's the minimums they're showing at X-Plane, what you've got there, Murito. Alright, so we're at finishing this up. Okay, so 141, 142, 150 now. What I'm going to do is go with 141, 143 for the V rotate. They're calling 149. I'll do the 150 the system wants. Just be safe, and I got to go back to my ACARS program, make minor adjustments. Okay, so that'll be 141. Which let me get this thing set up so I can read it better. 41. Save. Okay, hang on a second. We'll come back to that. I want to... Okay, so we're getting the plane loaded with people. Alright, so we're going to run with V1, which is our safety speed. At that point, we go. If we lose an engine, if we lose all of them, we hit the brakes. But at V1, if we throw a warning or anything, we'll make a quick decision whether we're coming back or not, or going, or rejecting. Rotate is 143. V2, which is 35 feet over the minimum speed to be 35 feet over the end of the runway, 150. So, which that'll be, I hope, a little ways down the runway. It should only use 2,800 feet. So or should have 2,800 at the end, I'm sorry. Alright, so we've got everything there loaded. Let's plug up here and start filling in the blanks up here.
Guys, the wheel's on board.
Alright, everybody's on board. They're waiting on me. I love it. Okay. Runway heading for now. And we'll do our departure brief in a moment so we can get our altitude correct in here. Switch over to this, and the weather 1021, no significant, shows drizzle. Kind of interesting. Always love when it says no sig but yet drizzle. So that's 1021. Should be setting on both sides. Let's get this up into the 4,000 range. Oh, I'm on radio. That's why I'm being dumb. Hang on a second here. I thought I was reading Paro. Sorry about that, folks. Let's try that again. Now we should get to 4,000. Then we'll set it up. I think it's around 4,300 feet here as well. For some reason I thought Paro was up near, that's pretty close to where I wanted anyway. Let's see. Yeah, it is. My bad. I was reading the wrong number. Paro is 7,300 feet above sea level. So, folks, double almost Denver, my example. Sorry about that. Wow. Reading the wrong airport. Alright, so 43, I'm going to want... There we go. We'll just go with that. Now, just to check, everything should match over here. Okay, it's not going to let... Oh, that's right, it's going to switch over there. Okay, so it mirrors over here, so that's why I'm being, again, silly. Anyway, so we're set. Let's go ahead and get our flight directors on. And from here, we're going to head back, get into that long line. Lights, oxygen's right below us. Okay, clock set. For those of you new to the Zibo aircraft, the nose wheel steering can be set by going to well, here, I'll just do it. It's a lot easier when I see it. So you come up to your main menu, but click over one config. hardware, there's your nose wheel. This will allow you to be turned on. Now it can be by yaw, which will be if you got a joystick, you know, using your rudder, roll with your stick, however you want to set it up. So let's see here, continuing on, display panel. Got to get the altitude up there. We'll be up there in a minute on that panel. All right, our hold 1 and hold 2, we can do that real quick. 1, 2. I'm going through these real quick because what I'm going to do is hold right there. Back to 2. Alright, so what we basically saw, speed brakes down, closed, parking brake set, flaps show 0, and we won't see it on the gauge here. 0 and 0. Stave trims are normal, and fuel cutoffs are in cutoff. Now we're going to be dropping down to here, so we're going to go ahead and do our fire check. Okay. Good. I get used to PMDG too much here. Okay, I've got Unicom 122.8 here, 122.9, another Unicom set here. I have not set my VORs. We'll go ahead and I'm going to use a different scenario here for that. 113.20 for Kathmandu. That's where that came from. Okay. Trying to figure out where 113.20 came from. And Paro, I think it says 108.4. Okay. Okay, so we got our VOR set up.
Adjust vertical speed. Adjust. Climb.
Testing
down.
our, what's my single engine ground speed?
Climb, crossing, climb.
I'll be totally honest, it'll be whatever I can do to keep it in the air. That's how I look at it. But I believe, isn't that like V2 plus 10? So that would be my 153 plus 63, 163 is what I'll plan if I have to go single engine minimum ground speed. I'm going to have as much ground speed as possible.
Vertical speed. Maintain vertical speed. Crossing.
Okay.
Maintain. Monitor
They're set.
vertical speed.
Audio panels are set. Seat rudders.
Pass.
Good. Like hearing pass. This one we're going to kind of blow through because we did a lot of it already. I'm going to go ahead and start the APU though. Alright, now to start the APU in X-Plane. Get all of these set up here. Come on, there we go. Excuse me there, folks. Basically, you just need to make sure you have a fuel pump on. I go with the forward. I don't know which pump's the easiest to get to on the 737, but I know that's the one they run in case there's a problem. Turn the switch on, hit start, and she'll start spooling up here. And I'm going to hold the checklist right here until we have the APU going. No problem there, Marito. It was actually a simple one. I was hoping it wouldn't be too in-depth. So, the research for this flight, I can understand now why there's only a few pilots rated for it. Alright, we're just waiting for the gens to light up. They just did, so we'll come off external power, which for some reason mine never turns off. We'll turn the bleeds on, and we are just getting there. Let's go back here, and I'm gonna pull off the external power. I know, that makes it look like it's connected. Kind of always irritates me. But little things like that I can live with. Did I miss anything else? Alright, let's check equipment cooling. I'm not even sure where that one is. But we got trim airs on. Recircs on. Okay. Just so I don't forget it. Alright. Emergency passenger signs are on. Windshields are parked. Turn the heat on. Window heat's on. Probe heat will stay off. Wing and engine ice off. Hydraulic panel is set. Air conditioning panel set. Pressurization set. Lighting panel. Now, what I went one too far, sorry. What I use for both setting up the FMC and for, in this case, ignition left or right, day of the week. Is it odd? Is it even? If it's odd, I go left. If it's even, I go right. If it's odd, I go with the left FMC, right with the FMC. So I kind of use, it's a system I saw somebody at another VA post, and I went, hey, that's a simple one to know. So let's go ahead and get that set up to left. If they're both in auto, lights are set, everything's good. It still shows on. How can it still show on? Ugh. Like I said, things that irritate me every now and then. So back to the checklist, and let's just get rolling with it. EFIS is checked, oxygen on his side checked, clock display is good. Takeoff lights, we're pretty much now beginning to flow the same one we just did. We're not going to set reject takeoff right now on the brakes. We'll do that once we're at the runway. We've done overheat and fire checks, radios are set, comms are set, radar is set, transponders tested and set, stabilizer trim, guards closed. Seat, rudders, and seat belts all adjusted, fastened, and ready to go. Final checks, flight door closed. CDUs, N1 set, IAS, MCP, all set, ready to go. Alright. So, in order to get rolling here, hang on a second, let me get back to that thing. This, get those up. Start closing doors. Pull the chocks. Actually, keep the chocks. No, we need to pull. And we're going to ask better pushback to get their butts over here. Runway 2. Oh, crud. We came in, I think, this way on runway 2. So...
Round to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Okay, so we are all buttoned up. Let's take a look outside, make sure. And I'm hoping we're going to push back the right direction. Yeah, you heard me. Oh, crud. I forgot which way is runway 2, and I didn't have my my indicators in front of me. So, yeah, we're hoping for the best here. Let's see. Looks like 2 is to my right. So, yep, we're going the right way. Good deal. That's what I was relying on. All right, so we're going to pull Sim Toolkit up again. And we are going to get into the departure brief here real quick. He can wait out there until I call him. But again, 4,395-foot airport, runway 2. Weather, winds are variable, 4,500. Drizzle, 1,500 foot few clouds, 6 degrees Celsius outside. 10:21 for our QNH. Weather in Paro, 160 at 14. Skies clear, 18 degrees Celsius. Paro, 73.64. Runway length, 74.31 in feet, both of those. So everything is as it should be for departure. So let's get into that departure out of Kathmandu. Again, here's our routing with our missed approach over here, but we're more focused here. So you can kind of get a quick diagram of what we're going to do. But let's take a look at it more in depth. From our taxi stand, we're going to come out on taxiway Charlie, and then back taxi to the end of the runway for takeoff. Turn around and head out. Let me take a look here at FatSim. Let me do a couple things here to keep screens from dying on me. ATIS is 127. Kathmandu ground 121.9 for those interested. 118.1 or 118.5. Again, for those interested in it. Oh, and I am not on that, so shame on me. Stand by. Okay. Get up there real quick. Go with it. Alright, let me bring nav grab back up for you all. And connect. Okay, stand by. I see why. My bad. I did it to myself. And let's try it again. Fetch. Hallelujah. 31. We're going to put it at 27. And L and 5. Alright, I gotta find out who this controller is. I really hate when they do this. Alright, that means we're shut down. Doggone it. You guys gotta do that. And then you don't show up on FatSpy. Okay, we won't be flying on that because I'm not dealing with ATC on top of this approach. Alright, so, and set you to 27. And start. Okay, believe it or not, folks, I actually got my ACARs running on time this time. So, all of that for nothing. We won't be flying online because they want to play where they don't want to show, and I'm okay with that. Because I wouldn't have came up if I knew they were on. And I'm just double checking because I don't think they're going to show on this one either. Nope, they are not showing. And that to me is all wrong. That's a misuse of that sim, and I really hate it. And that's why a lot of times you'll see me drop offline, and I do apologize to y'all if you're controllers. I don't play those kind of games. If you're going to take a space that's not yours, then I'm not coming online. Simple as that. So, alright, so we're back to our departure brief. So, again, we've gone through the frequency bar here. Here's our runway. We don't need to worry about runway lights. It's daylight, and we're going to go to the departure itself. Okay, elevation 4395, and our transition is 13,500 feet. We're going to be doing the 1B departure. So we're going to come down here, read it first, then take a look. So for runway 2, it is the 1B. We're going to climb straight, distance 2.5 from the KTMH VOR, then make a left turn, remaining within 5 miles. Past KTM, radio 320, turn left to KTM, KTM 105 out to Igris, continue climb to MEA. Get to that in a second. Alright, 8%, minimum climb is an 8% on the 1B. Reason being, I hope I can show it, but I don't think I'll be able to from this vantage point we're at in the gate. But 8%, they show you what ground speeds and all are for that, and your F minimum feet per minute climbs. I'm going to let the FMC do a lot of this. Alright, now the 1B, here's where we're sitting, here's the runway. We're going to take off at 2.5. We're going to start our turn at the 0320 radio, continue our left turn to come over KTM at or above 7,500 feet. We're going to then continue out on the 105 to Igris at or above 10,500 feet. Folks, reason being, very high terrain here. And then out to Kempty, and our minimum en route altitude is 11,600, so we got to be above that the whole way out. So we're right on the leading edge to the Himalayas, folks, just so you have an idea. And if you don't get that part, we'll show it to you real quick here with the live map. I've kept it in the satellite mode because of this trip. These are the Himalayas, and this is the leading edge. We would call them something like the, well, heck, they're not even what we would call like the Appalachians. I can't think of the word now for the forerunning of the mountains. But anyway, so we're going to be right along them, and this is in the mountains. So we pay attention seriously to these altitudes, and I plan to. And quick foretaste of what's coming. Once we get over to Soupsea, we have to be at PR 888, at least 17,000 feet at 185 knots. From what I understand, that is very close to the maximum speed altitude that flaps 1 can be used. Now, I have a hard time with that because Alto Airport is 13,000 feet, and so they do use this. So I don't think it's as critical as I was led to believe, but 185 knots will help us to stay nice and slow. We're going to keep the gear up. We're not going to drag in there, but we'll be at least flap 1 or 2, maybe even 5 at that point, and then we'll follow in. But that's just a precursor to what's coming. And this is going to be our arrival here. So I just wanted to throw that out there to you, get a little bit of pre-information. One last look here, and then we're going to hop into the cockpit. All right, so here we go. Oop. Get back in there where you're supposed to be. Thank you. Love when things don't want to do what I tell them to do. All right, so we're back into cockpit here, folks. Let's go ahead and get our tug.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Oh, and by the way, for those of you that think I'm a little rough on that controller, he's not on VAT Spy, and he's not on VAT Statistic, or whatever that site is, the beta. He's not showing up there either, so it's not even gonna let it bother me anymore. So just wish I could have flown it online, but oh well. So the tug's pulling in, so let's do checklists again. Make sure our chocks are out. There he goes, dragster.
Okay,
I love that.
all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Okay, there he goes in for the connect. Okay, so we do have everything going here for us. Push back. Transponder's been tested. Parking brake by him. We'll turn the hydraulic pumps on afterwards. Let's go ahead. We have the transponder set and ready to go. And 4. And let's get the beacons on. Engine start. We'll be turning the fuel pumps on. Then we'll turn packs.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
He can wait just another second.
Alright, we've got him both strapped in. Give us a ring if you need anything.
Get that message out real quick. I'm just giving them the welcome aboard. Okay. Anyway, we're going to go through the start real quick. So you turn your fuel pumps on. That's a requirement. Packs have to be turned off. Make sure your APU bleed is on. And then when we go, I'm going to be starting the right side first, then the left. So we'll move number 2 to ground. It's just one click with a little arrow showing we're clicking it to the left. I guess that's how you would look at it. Hydraulic pumps will stay off during this, and we'll turn them on once we get pushed back. So we're going to come to this one, drop down, pushing back now.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Okay, we're going to go to W. Now, I also leave this one on engine to kind of help out. I want to do a quick reset. So, packs are off, fuel pumps are on, APU bleed is on, starting number 2. We'll go through the checklist here in a moment. You can hear it winding, I think. At 17% or more to 25, you can move this up to idle. And then we're just waiting. EGT is coming up. Fuel flow is beginning. Oil pressure's up. At 50, we should hear it click off. And we'll go ahead. Oop. I can't get a good view of that. And there it went to click off. And it's not very much further. Make sure everything is settled down. And what we call stable. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on the generator for number 2 and start turning number 1. Same thing, we're waiting for 17% or more to 25. Should see some oil pressure here or come up here soon. There it is. And then light off will be when you see the EGT going up. That's the turbine temperature. Fuel pressure's up. And we're just about finished with our pushback. That'll let you see it. There's N2 at 48. $55's when it kicked off. I'm here to tell you, folks, that is not VFR conditions.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay. Parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and get us on that generator. Alright, so let's go to the checklist. Pushback engine start. Okay, we turned the packs off. We announced. Guard. Verified. They want it to 25%. I do it between 17 and 25. To idle. At 56, the engine will cut off. Valve will extinguish. Starter cutout. Do the same for the next one. Okay, so oop. Before taxi, so generators 1 and 2 are on. Now on the top panel, we're going to go ahead and turn on the probe heat. The wing, we'll go ahead. We're good. Pack switches will be at auto. Isolation, bleed, and we'll move the start switches to continuous. All of that has to be done on the top panel. So, pack on. APU bleed off. Probe heat off. On.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
APU can be turned off now. Packs are at auto now. Isolation is at auto. APU bleed is off. And one, wrong way. They're on continuous. Okay. Now, down on the pedestal, they're at idle. Next page. Ground equipment's clear. Flaps we got to set. Flight controls check. And lower DU blank. I will not run with it blank, just so you know. Alright, so folks, we're started up. We're going to finish up, you know what? Flaps. The only reason I go to this position is we can actually do it. And I want to watch to make sure we only go to one. I think we are. Okay. Set this for reject. And the other thing we had to do, flight controls, lower DU blanked, which we won't do. Okay, so we're good to go to the next page. Takeoff, and we'll go through that when we get down there. Okay, so what we're going to be doing here, let's set this to status. Hydraulic pressures. Yaw damper on. Everything else should be set. What's our altitude here? $43.95. That's what I wanted to make sure. 4,400. Okay. Wing lights I keep off until we're ready to put the flight attendants in their seats. So, hang on a second. Just setting some things up here outside the checklist. Okay, flaps. Good. Alright, so we're going to be checking our surfaces now. Flaps are set to 1. So left on the aileron, right, left, right, left, right. Okay, elevator. And the yaw. Or rudder. Now, why do I do it 4 times? Call it one of those superstitions. Every time I don't do this, or I don't do 4 of them like you would have with the old SATEC calibration tool, you would do it 4 times on every axis that moves on your sticks. To reset when you had rudder problem, I would get a rudder problem. Now it's Logitech, now X-Plane, we can actually calibrate inside the sim. And for those of you learning X-Plane like I did, if you click, hang on a second, up at the top here, this icon brings up all of your menu items, keyboard settings. It's kind of stay away from some of these if you're not familiar. But this one would allow you, by clicking calibrate, to calibrate your aircraft or your stick. So that way, when you turn it, everything's working the way you want it. If you have to reverse it, whatever, which I had to do on my elevator trim, and so forth. But that's what I had to do for my preference. But anyway, just wanted to point that out to you. But we've done the flight control check. Folks, in real world, make sure you do that. Don't get in a hurry. Don't think, oh, I don't need to do that, because, you know, my dad flew for Allegheny Air for U.S. Airways in the Dash 8s. Then he went to corporate planes. Then he went to ground school teaching when retiring out of each of those. He had one crash somewhere up in the Northeast. I want to say Hartford, but I could be way off. But it's up in the Northeast, or a Gulfstream, I think it was. 2 guys in a hurry did not perform that simple check that you see fighter pilots, you know, will run the stick around and you watch them all go wild. The surfaces on the ends of each of the wings and tail. Just doing that alone, folks, would have saved their lives. The gust locks were still in place. So let's taxi. On takeoff, they couldn't climb. It's just a tip from Captain Mike to those of you who do this for real. I hope you all take those checklists seriously. If not, and you're at my airport, you might get to meet me one way or another. Prefer to meet you, be able to shake your hand and say, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm an airport firefighter for Mid-America Airport here at Scott Air Force Base, Mid-America, KBLV. So would love to meet you that way, shaking your hand and pulling pieces out of the plane. So, or worse. Pieces or worse is still the same. It's worse. Alright, so we're taxiing here on Charlie. Flaps are at 1. Folks, we're on our way. So if you are ready to cast your bets on what I'm going to do on the landing, I will not be offended if you put 10,000 feet a minute on my landing. I'm half tempted to put that in on myself. So, but anyway, waiting for one of those, one of my friends out at the airport. He should be joining us here soon. Matter of fact, we're going to find out where he's hiding. And texting while taxiing, folks, is still not a good job. And yes, folks, you can see it. So if you wanted to try Luca, this might be your sim. You'll be actually going up the hills. This, from what I understand, is a, when we go into Paro, it's a downsloping hill coming in on 1.5. So you're, you're battling that also to get stopped at the end of the runway. Alright, so. And if you just heard it, I just turned the wing lights on. But now we're taxiing downhill. So it is kind of neat to see sloping in here.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
That is kind of cool. So we need to get some taxi lights on, I guess, don't we? And since we're not on VATSIM, it does still kind of irritate me, that controller, but he can do what he wants. That's, yep, still up, still being the pain that he is, so that's fine. He wants to see this flight flown, come see me at Flying with Mike. Alright, so we're going to come up to the hold line and do our final checks because we're going to be back taxiing the runway. Now I'm going to put this out to the crew here that's listening in. What would be a good airport to go to next? Let me know out of Paro. With the 737, because I'm not going to be able to get the 747 out of Paro. Hate to break it to you. Alright, so we got those set. Let's get nav all set. Okay. Now, we're going to head over here, go through this real quick, and then get down there and do it. Alright, so our takeoff is entering the runway. Make sure you got the right runway. There was a really bad crash in Lexington because the flight crew mistook the runway they were on. How they could mistake it, I don't know, but they did. Hence, the RAS system really intensified. Runway, I forget what RAAS stands for. But anyway, they took off on the runway, didn't have enough runway, and went off the runway into the trees, killing everybody, obviously. I think everyone died. Maybe somebody lived, I don't remember. So always make sure you're on the right runway. Folks, it's a real quick second at the end of the runway. Hey, does my nav display match up with my runway I'm supposed to be on? Okay, strobes. For the 737, you take the position light, number 2 light here, move it up to strobe. Oh, what's my friend's complaint now? Okay, lights, taxi lights are on. Okay. Just going through this, getting all this preliminary stuff out of the way. Other lights will turn on in a minute. We're on that. Fixed lights will come on. Now, they're going to say 40%. Let me show you a better thing to do here. And I know y'all are going, man, do you follow the checklist at all? Yes and no. Here's where 40% is, which isn't that hard to glance over and see where you're at. But this is, let me just kind of zoom in here so you get an idea. See this little caret right here, triangle? That's what's going to be coming up when you push the throttles. If you put it to 60%, you're in line with this line. It makes it an easier look. You can go to 40, don't get me wrong. But if you take it to 60, you see how much easier it is to see when your power reaches? Just something I've learned again from many a pilot out there. So we'll hold this right here. Oh wow, I didn't know that did that. Wow, interesting. Flying with Mike learned something. Okay, time to go back to the gate. We're done for the day. Sorry. No, just kidding. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn the landing lights on. And lights are all set. All right, so let's release those brakes. And you really can't see what's around us. But I'm here to tell you folks, it's mountains. So that's why our procedure for takeoff here is the way it is. Speaking of which, let's do that real quick here. You've got some toolkit up here, so I am just going to pull it up. We're going to walk through it real quick. It's very simple takeoff. Again, altitude is 4395 on the runway. Transition 13500. We're doing the Icarus 1 Bravo departure. I'm going to let you read it down here real quick. We're going to climb straight to the D distance 2.5 from Kathmandu VOR. Turn left, remain within 5 miles of Kathmandu VOR. When you pass the radio 320 from Kathmandu VOR, continue left, direct Kathmandu, then direct Icarus, climbing to the minimum altitude, which is 16.7. Then we'll fly, here's Icarus, out to Kempty. Just zoom in a little bit here so you all have an idea of what we're doing. We're going to come off the runway. There's our basic circle, Kathmandu. Out to Icarus. Kathmandu, we got to be above 7,500 feet. Above 10,500 by Icarus. And then on. And then get up to the MEA as quickly as possible. So that's our departure brief, folks. Again, V speeds for the takeoff. Quick review. 139, 143, 148, and then we'll climb out at 170. Let me reset my displays here properly. And again, there's our route, folks. So I'm gonna actually close this up because we are going into a sterile cockpit. So there you go, folks. Last look at the route for a while. There goes Sim Toolkit. And we're gonna go ahead and take the runway. Kathmandu traffic, Mac Air 572. Backtaxing runway 2 for departure. Icarus 1 Bravo departure. Folks, landing lights, everything's on. Here we go. All right, folks. Take 2, just about to get airborne. now would be the time to get your popcorn out, folks. This is about a 30-35 minute run over to Paro, well, to the initial parts of our descent. So now would be the time. Alright, folks. Almost to the end of the runway here. Doing a quick flight control check. Alright. If you're looking over at the co-pilot's nav display, you're getting an idea of what lurks behind that lack of visibility. I know, I took it away from you now. That yellow line you see that's primarily for the heavies. So we can probably turn within the lines of the runway, but we'll go a little easy on her. I promise this time plane not to crash until we get on approach. I can't promise after that. Okay. Kathmandu traffic, Mac Air 572, rolling runway 2. Now for takeoff, what I do, I take them up to about 60%, the reason being, see that little blue dot, how easy it is to see a line? 40 is kind of hard, 60 it makes it real easy for the lines to come together. And here we go, Toga.
knots.
V1, rotate, V2.
V1, rotate, positive rate.
Get right on that so that we can fly this around.
Gear up.
Gears up.
1,000.
Gear off. And we're going to begin to see what we've got ahead of us, folks. That's what we're going to be flying into down there at Paro. Yeah, gonna be fun. And folks, I'm on VetSim. If you all want to join in, grab a plane here in Kathmandu or somewhere else, I'll see you at Paro. Get through the haze layer here. Actually, little bit more clouds than we had last time. Here we go, busting out. Goal here again, stay within 5. So let's do our after takeoff checks. Right there. And we're already above 7,500, so we got Kathmandu made fine. Do a little sightseeing again. Alright, there's the 10,000 foot mark. Let's get up here and turn these lights off. And there we go. You know, I just realized I said we're going to 31 and set us wrong. There we go. Okay, Kathmandu. I have to hold us to here because the speeds are set as such so that we will cross Kathmandu still at 180. And real quick look. Okay, as soon as we get past up, I'm going to make sure they go to up. Alright, okay, flaps up. Alright, let's do the after takeoff checklist, shall we? Alright, so flaps retract on schedule. We're set on autopilot, engine as needed, auto brake off, landing gear off. And we've gotten across 10. About to cross transition. And now we're going to set that to the decision altitude. Folks, we are cleared up to flight level 310. All right, folks, let's get outside the airplane. Now, we're not going to be turning the wing lights off. Because I really don't want to hear the captain keep saying every time I turn them back on, flight attendants, please take your seats. Departure. Don't you be doing stupid things here, airplane. You're doing stupid things.
Eighteen 18,000 feet.
Okay, so I'm glad I'm here watching it because she would have stalled out again. Alright folks, so put your predictions in. Wish it would say, will he make it? Okay, and we're almost. Yeah, I've leveled us off almost completely so that we build all our speed up here. And we are above the MEA. Why is it climbing like that? Okay, we'll go ahead and try this again. See if it holds better. Beautiful scenery. Just stunning scenery. Out of Kathmandu. Alright, so we're just going to kind of keep an eyeball on this thing. She's now reaching her speed for climb. We're 9 minutes out of departure. Streaming now for a total of 3 hours and we'll call it 14 minutes. Not gonna let our guard down this time. Alright, so we are on our way. Figuring I can turn some music on now. We're out of the sterile cockpit environment. Okay, we'll leave it set there. Anyway, we are climbing through 23,000 for 31,000. Looking at our breakdown here. Looks like we should start our descent for over BGD VOR, which is kind of what I was thinking. We'll get into that arrival brief, not too long from now, so let's get up to cruise. We'll get into it at that point. Just keeping an eye on everything. Okay, we're through transition. Verified altitudes are the same and holding for top descent. Okay. All right, folks, we are well on our way. really wished I understood the dynamics here and worked at why this plane just rockets every so often, then flattens out. Rockets and flattens. PMDG is so much more stable in its climbs with regard to this. Okay, one thing I do want to get set here. Go. This is just not very stable. Okay, so we're getting into that infamous area, folks. This is where we did it last time. Hopefully we'll get past and still be with air beneath us. You know, I would really hate to fly on a plane that would go to 5,000 feet a minute in a climb, then right down to 500 feet. Oh my God, that would hurt. Talk about a fighter pilot's joyful flight. So, Zebo, that's my one of my big complaints. It's this oscillation that goes on. And I'm sure you're going to say, well, that's X-plane. Well, then X-plane, it's on you. Would have loved for PMDG to bring products over here besides the DC-6. But, well, it is what it is. So... and the DC-6 stopped. They're not updating it, so sorry for yawning in your ears, but I do know a ex-pilot or ex-plane, I'll just say a pilot or developer, does have how to make the DC-6 work in 11.5. So I may delve into it, but then again I may not. That was one thing I was really hoping to do, and I think a few of you may have heard me say that before. Let's see here. I wanted, when I came over and tried trying X-plane, I really wanted to be able to fly the DC-6 a lot. About like I'm doing the 737 here. Flown this quite a bit. 747 starting to pick up, but this plane I've flown a lot, and that's how I wanted it to be with the DC-6. And, well, by golly, it's not just coming that way. We're going to get a little bit more flights. We may get gutsy and try it, but so far, not really. Other than the scenery, I'm still kind of wishy-washy about X-plane. Whoa, 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 airplane, whoa. I did not touch a thing, folks. Well, that would have been what caused it to crash last time. What the heck was that? Flaps are up. She's already turning. That took. Holy mackerel. Holy cow, that was... Wow, unexpected there, folks. Okay. All right, so let's do a couple things. We're going to go ahead right now. Let's do the arrival brief because, folks, this is intense. I think things have settled down. Okay, real quick from Subsu, we're going to go direct PR 888. We'll be descending to no lower than 17,000 feet, and we're going to be no faster at PR 888 185. Pretty simple stuff there. Bear with me, hang on a second. Let me do the same thing here, folks. Do this because I kind of want to be able to keep an eyeball on this flight. That kind of scared the you-know-what out of me. Okay, so now we'll switch to the RNAV. Okay, so here's PR 888. Remember, 17,000 feet, maximum 185 knots. We're going to fly PR 842, 1,500, 200 feet. Then we're going to be, again, all of this at max speed 185. At 816, folks, we're really close to the runway. 13,800 at 145. So we're going to be flapped out, gear down, coming around the rest of this course. We're not going to worry about any of this. Mandatory of 816, which is right here, 13,800 feet. And again, maximum speed 185 or 145. RNIP 30 to DA, reports 7,364 feet. Now, if we have to go missed approach, what we're going to do, and you can follow it along here, folks, we're going to climb to 16,000. RNIP missed approach, track PR 777. You see the track to here, and hold at start or start new approach via PR 777. From here, you'll come in and you'll do the little loop-de-deer to come back. That doesn't look easy either, folks. That's why I chose this way. RNIP.3 and RF required. I need a lot of help with RNAV, folks, so if any of you out there are familiar with these types of approaches, please chime in if I'm doing something wrong. Again, from 816, there's our descent in. It's gonna zigzag. We aim for a monastery in real life and come around this hill and then line them. Oh, it's just gonna be fun, folks. So that's what we have in store. Let's go ahead and start setting up for our, so what was it, 17,000 feet. Okay, so our first one is coming down to 17. Okay, we're within that. Initial. Okay, VREF 136. There we go. And we're set with the VREF flaps 40, 135. We're going to set brakes to 3. And current currently top of descent. Just so it doesn't mess with us. 32 miles. Okay. Just enough time to get over here, finish this up. We're set to go. Descent. Verify, do a recall. Nav set. Auto brake is needed. There we go. All right. Okay, recall good. Brake set to 3. Now, when we come across PR 888, I am going to have flaps 1 or 2 out, possibly to flaps 5. And we are going to fly it as methodically as we can. That's how I recommend any of you fly this approach. It is a very tricky approach. It's just flat out amazing me. It's a little bit scary looking. Here, let's get outside. Now you see we're kind of over the flatland here. Just working off our shoulders that. Which will be fun. You know, at least it's the sim. I really hate crashing. And that pisses me off that I did that on the first attempt. And what pisses me off even more, I did it before I even got on the approach. I got into the mountains. So, we'll see how this works out. Alright, and for those of you joining the stream, we are about to be heading into the Himalayas here very quickly. Top of descent is coming up in 13 miles. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and initiate the descent. And go to the legs page so we can keep up with this. Alright, from here we're tracking up to Supsu, SUB, Sierra Uniform, Bravo, Sierra Uniform. There's where we join our arrival portion of this, up to Papa Romeo 888. From Papa Romeo 888, we then fly the RNAV approach for runway 15 into Paro. It's one of the more challenging approaches. Matter of fact, not more. It is supposedly the most challenging approach out there right now. And we're trying it. We'll be slowing to 185 here as soon as we cross Subsu. So, again, 17,000 is as far as we can descend, and then we slow to 185. And then once we hit Subsu, I'll probably either turn the music off or turn it way down to where it's very hard to hear, if it's even hearable right now, just so we can fly this approach. But for those of you joining the stream, we thank you. Hope you enjoy the ride into Paro. Folks, give it a try. Kathmandu is not that far out. It's like a 30-minute hop over to it. So it's 230 something miles. I'd look at, actually no, you're getting a good look at the RNAV on the lower left corner there of what we're going to be shooting here soon. So just grab a plane in Kathmandu and give it a shot, folks. This part's the easy part. Getting out of Kathmandu is a little tricky too, but this is the really tricky part. It's almost reminiscent of coming into Kathmandu a couple nights ago. Now we're flying the RNAV believe it's the RNAV RNP Zulu for runway 1533. We're coming into runway 15. So, hope you all go. You know, I think Web Gear Paro is a daylight only airport, but I do know when you cross, so well, he was going runway 33 explaining it, so I don't know where he was. But it was a you got to be pretty much visual VMC, VFR into this airport, because at a certain point you got to cross over it, hook around for 3-3 and come back. How did he do that? I'm trying to figure out what he was shooting, because this would have been the better way in for 15. Anyway, I think you have to be. Okay, so we're slowing up right now. No, we're not. We're still heading down. There they are, folks, the Himalayas. Let's get one last look. I don't know how easy this would be at night, I'll be totally honest with you. Okay. Like I said, when we pass the initial for the arrival sub-SU, Sierra Uniform, Bravo Sierra Uniform, we'll be slowing to 185. So keep it wide angle a little bit here. Okay, we just crossed sub-SU and the decel. I'm going to go ahead and throw in some spoilers. But this damn plane cut this out. I just saw that again. Heck, it's going to do something that I'm not ready for before we even get on the approach. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to have to turn the music off. All right, Web Gear, here we go. And we'll get her down to where we're going to need to deploy flaps here soon. And somewhere in there, folks, our airport. I have no idea where, but it's in there somewhere. Alright, so we are down to our speed, so let's pull those speed brakes off. Comes the flaps. Just flaps 1 for now. Okay, folks, here we go. and I am going to dial us down one more level. There's 185. I'm going to go ahead and go to flaps 2. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, our next one is 15. By 84.2. Okay, that's where we're headed to now. We're not descending. All right, so all right. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set. Stand by real quick. 1016. Going to 730 now.
18,000 feet.
799. Okay. I'd like to try to get it down into the 14,000 range by then. We'll maintain some speed brake here. Flaps 5. Okay. Okay, so we're 13.8 from 799 to 816. Y'all are following along. And please forgive me if I'm not paying attention or anything. We're in a sterile cockpit now. So 816 is this one.
Thousand to go.
And again, what I said, 816, which is next one up, we're going to go gear down and start setting flaps. And we'll arm everything up. We're going to be ready to start thinking about landing. Okay, there's 13.8. And any more speeds after that? Or, well, now we slow to 145. Okay, so we're flaps 15 now. I'm going to go ahead and arm up our speed brakes. Start really getting this plane dirtied up. Okay. It's do or die time now, folks. Set our altitude.
2,500.
Yeah, we know we're coming over a ridge. We know. We're going to come on down to 10,200.
Gear down.
All right, we're letting the plane do a lot of the lateral for us and vertical. All right, folks, here we go. Wow, don't see any of the landmarks we should be seeing. We're gonna hold off on flaps 40 till we see the runway. Okay, final approach checks are brake set. Paro approach, Mac Air 572, approximately 5 miles northwest, inbound runway 15 at 12,900. Oh shoot, there's the runway. Okay, next layer of flaps. There is absolutely no way in hell.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
10,000 feet.
Think rate. 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 Think rate.
Guess what we're doing, folks? A nice go around. Back Air 572 on the go. Paro, first approach.
Terrain. Terrain. Terrain.
Ten thousand feet.
Thousand to go.
Gear up.
10,000 to go.
Okay, looks like after the go around, we are going to have one more attempt.
Thousand to go.
Okay, we're going to set it up. All right, folks. Well, good old missed approach. As soon as we get inbound to the 796 is when we'll set it up. So that way it'll just roll right over to it and right onto it. Okay. Well, so far I'm not liking this. Okay, we're going to set this up. Alright folks, here we go. Last try. And we're out of fuel. Okay, we're going to go ahead and set our descent to 13.8. Okay folks, we're giving this another try. I'm going to start my descent. It's 7:28. So I got to be there. I got a ways to go. So we'll keep it at 16. Drag to a minimum. All right, folks. Any tips or anything? Put them in the chat box. We're coming in this time, irregardless. That's the one. Oop. Okay. All right, Paro approach, Mac Air 572, second attempt, Paro, runway 15. Flaps 10 now. Yeah, it's got our airspeeds way off.
1,000 to go.
Okay, it's PR 816. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. Open it up just a little.
Thousand to go.
Okay.
Gear down.
And Paro, traffic, back air 572, crossing Papa
2500.
816, 13,800 feet, 145 knots, fully configured. Okay, and here's where this steep dive comes in. Flaps full. There's 30, there's 40. All right, folks. There's the runway.
$2,500.
10,000 feet.
Okay.
Terrain. Terrain. Terrain.
I think we got the runway this time,
Terrain.
folks.
Think rate. Think rate. Think rate. Think rate. Think rate. Think rate. Hold up.
1,000.
Up.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Bridge, altitude set.
Think rate. Bank angle. Bank angle. Tank rate. Tank rate.
500. 400.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
300.
Pull up. Pull up.
200.
Pull up. Pull up.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Easy, girl.
Positive rate.
Guess what, folks?
40. 10.
Yep, we saw that coming. The reverse thrusters went off. Doggone it. It was an ugly landing. Dang it. Oh well. Another crash. Oh well. Ah, the reverse thrusters went off and I went to full power. Oh, my. All right, folks. Well, I've had enough fun with Paro. Ouch is definitely right, web gear. Ouch. Hang on a second. I got to take that picture. Ah. Well, folks, I tell you, this is definitely a challenging approach. And I had it. That's the thing that ticks me off. Kind of, sort of had it, okay? Well, appreciate it there, web gear. Yeah, we're not going to do a third attempt. So, folks, y'all have a happy new year. We thank you, and we're going to, here lies me, kind of leave it at this. Oh, well, it's been fun, though. I can't imagine. I mean, my goodness, what it would take to get type rated for this airport. Man, I wouldn't want to do this for real. Uh-uh. All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap it up. And hope you all had fun. Enjoyed the, wow, that is unbelievable flying that those guys do up in Nepal, Bhutan area. Bhutan. How about, yeah, I guess it is Bhutan. I don't know how you pronounce it. But anyway, you have a happy new year to their web gear and to all that's followed. Thank you for bearing with me on the missed approach. And y'all have a great day. Happy New Year. We'll see you on the next stream. Good night.